Welcome everyone and thank you for tuning in today because you are about to hear one of the most astonishing coin stories ever told, a true modern numismatic mystery that proves that even the smallest piece of metal in your pocket could secretly be worth more than luxury mansions, sports cars, and even private islands. And today's story focuses on a seemingly ordinary 2016 P1 dime from the United States that shocked collectors and stunned experts when rumors and legendary tales began circulating that a unique era version of this coin could be worth as much as $45 million, a figure so unbelievable that it sounds like fiction, yet when you dive deep into the strange world of minting mistakes, rare mint mark anomalies, transitional metal errors, doubled dies, off-metal strikes, die clashes, misaligned hubs, planchet mix-ups, and production chaos, you start to understand how a tiny 10-cent coin can transform into a priceless artifact that collectors would fight to own. So sit back and imagine holding a normal-looking dime that everyone else would casually spend without a second thought, but which in reality could change your life forever if it carried the right combination of hidden flaws and historical circumstances. Because the 2016 P dime was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, a facility with a long history of innovation and occasional production surprises. And while billions of dimes were produced that year for circulation, only a microscopic number would ever develop the exact mix of errors that elevate them into legendary status. And the reason such a coin could be valued at tens of millions is not because of the metal itself or the face value, but because of the story locked into its surface, a story of machines running at high speed, of human oversight, of misaligned dies, wrong planchets, missing or altered mint marks, and strange transitional conditions where old and new standards overlapped, creating a once-in-a-lifetime anomaly that could never be repeated again. And to understand why collectors might place such an enormous value on a 2016 P dime, you must first understand how modern coins are made and how errors occur. Because coins are struck using hardened steel dies that impress designs onto blank metal discs known as planchets, and these planchets are carefully manufactured to exact weight, thickness, and composition standards. But when production reaches millions of coins per day, even the most advanced systems cannot prevent every single mistake, and sometimes a blank from another denomination or another year slips into the press, sometimes a die cracks or shifts, sometimes two different designs overlap, and sometimes a mint mark or identifying feature is missing, misplaced, doubled, or transformed in a way that defies explanation, and when these mistakes escape the mint and enter circulation, they become instant rarities. But most errors are minor and worth only a few dollars or hundreds, so what could possibly make one single 2016 P dime rise to a value of $45 million? The answer lies in the possibility of a perfect storm of rare errors combined into one coin, creating a unique specimen that exists as a one-of-a-kind artifact, and collectors pay astronomical prices for uniqueness, especially when the coin represents a moment of chaos or transition in minting history. And one of the most powerful factors in this story is the mint mark anomaly, because Philadelphia traditionally does not place a mint mark on its dimes, yet imagine a 2016 dime that displays a distorted, doubled, or ghost-like mint mark that should not exist at all, or shows traces of a different mint's mark such as a D or S that appears faintly beneath the surface, suggesting a die mix-up or a hubbing error where a die meant for another mint was mistakenly used or altered. And this alone would cause shockwaves in the collecting community. But now imagine that same coin also struck on the wrong metal planchet, perhaps a silver alloy intended for a proof or commemorative issue, or even a transitional planchet left over from an experimental batch, giving the dime an unusual weight, sound, and color, making it stand out instantly to anyone who examines it closely. And then imagine that the design itself is doubled, with the date, the words Liberty and In God We Trust, and Roosevelt's profile showing clear doubling or distortion, not from damage, but from a genuine double die error, created when the die itself was misaligned during the hubbing process. And now add a dramatic off-center strike or a partial collar error that leaves part of the edge blank or expanded, revealing the raw layers of metal beneath. And finally add a die clash where the obverse and reverse designs collided without a planchet in between, leaving ghostly impressions of the torch, branches, or lettering appearing on the wrong side. And you now have a coin that is no longer just an error but a miracle of numismatic chaos, something that could never be recreated, something that exists as a physical record of multiple production failures happening simultaneously. And when such a coin is discovered, its value is not determined by price guides but by the willingness of elite collectors, museums, and private investors to compete for ownership, and history has shown that unique coins can reach unimaginable prices. Such as the famous 1933 Double Eagle, the 1804 Silver Dollar, or the 1913 Liberty Nickel, each of which achieved multi-million-dollar prices because of rarity, mystery, and legend. And if a modern coin like a 2016 p-dime were proven to be a one-of-a-kind combination error with documented authentication, it could join this legendary class. And because modern coins are typically expected to be flawless due to advanced technology, the shock of discovering such a severe error would increase its appeal even more, making collectors desperate to secure it before it disappears into a private vault forever. And the value would skyrocket not just because of its physical properties but because of the story behind it, a story that would be told in auctions, books, and museums for generations. And the rumor of a $45 million 2016 p-dime is fueled by the idea that somewhere out there, perhaps in a jar of spare change or an old wallet, there exists a coin that escaped the mint carrying the fingerprints of multiple production failures, and people around the world are now searching their change, examining dimes under magnification, weighing them, listening to their sound, and comparing details, hoping to be the one who uncovers this modern treasure. And the psychology behind this fascination is powerful because it transforms ordinary people into treasure hunters, making every small coin feel like a lottery ticket. And while most will never find such a rarity, the mere possibility keeps the dream alive, and collectors know that the minting process is not perfect, that mistakes slip through, and that every year new discoveries are made that rewrite price guides and redefine what is possible. And even if the exact $45 million specimen has not yet been publicly confirmed, the legend itself is enough to drive interest, because history shows that some of the greatest numismatic finds were unknown for decades before being recognized. And the same could happen with a 2016 p-dime, sitting quietly in someone's possession, waiting for the right moment to be revealed. And when that moment comes, it would ignite global attention, news headlines, auction houses competing for the sale, collectors flying from across the world, and experts analyzing every micron of its surface, confirming its authenticity and uniqueness. And once verified, the coin would transcend its humble origins, becoming a symbol of chance, error, an extraordinary value hidden in plain sight, reminding everyone that sometimes the smallest things can hold the greatest worth, and that in a world driven by mass production and digital currency, a tiny piece of metal can still capture imagination, spark dreams, and change lives. And so as you go about your day and handle your loose change, remember that